Welcome back to Light Talk, where everyday people can share their spiritual journey experiences with a safe and supportive community. If you'd like to be a guest on the show and share your stories, email lighttalk423 at gmail.com. While you're at it, please click on your like, share, and subscribe buttons. Well, today we have a really awesome guest. She is going to rock your world. And her name is Eva Vennari, and she is the founder of Elevate Institute, and she is a spiritual alchemist who specializes in removing blocks to longevity and healing chronic illness. She loves to witness the character development of a person who wants to be better.
That's right.
Welcome. So welcome to the show. I'm so excited
Thank
to hear
you.
your stories.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm so glad to be a part of your show. So this is exciting.
Oh, I'm excited in more ways than one. Yeah, so when we spoke last night, right? We spoke last night and you had me just jaw dropped and so excited to hear your stories again. So let's go with I don't know. You have two wonderful stories. Let's go ahead and start with your exorcist
Oh
stories.
yeah. The
Let's go
Exorcist
ahead and start
story.
with that.
Well, the biggest thing to know is that Hollywood has sensationalized what happens when a person becomes, you know, they have a demonic possession when they become possessed. And it's never that scary, not in that way. Nobody's turning their head around and throwing up and causing mayhem. It's a different kind of experience. It's actually far more alluring to the human. We want something that's shiny and fun, and that's what demonics and entities are really good at tempting us with. And so my job then becomes something a little bit less exciting than what we see on TV. But really, for me, the work of exorcism, of being able to remove a demonic possession and freeing up a person from a constrained free will, so they were not under their own power, if you will. And
Right, right.
so yeah, so the very first exorcism I did, it wasn't because I said, oh, I think this is going to be fun and exciting. It's because the experience that I had had over the years progressed to the place where doing an exorcism was just the next logical step.
And can you tell us about those steps going up to this?
Sure. For me, it was an awareness that I was already a medium. And so an ability to speak with spirit, people who had bodies and no longer did. So that where it started. Like, we have to remember, ghosts were just people too. I feel like
Yeah.
a public service announcement. Ghosts are people too. And they just lose their body. And um, that was the beginning. That was my awareness as a child. And as I grew and had life experiences, the catalyst for my ability to work with angels, which is the main way I battle demons, was the death of my, well, now deceased ex-husband. And when he passed, there was a definite attachment of his essence, his constant talking. Talked a lot in life, my dear. So it wasn't hard to miss him. I'm like, wait a minute. Not only did I divorce him, but he's dead. What is he doing here? And like, you know, so this became the start of a search. This whole world of um, soul contracts and earthbound spirits and working with angels to clear those and guide people from this plane of existence to heaven or wherever their next natural state is supposed to be. And that became part of my world. And it really was a natural progression. So when he attached himself to me, you could consider that almost a possession, because it wasn't my free will. It was not something that I said, I want this. So it was without my permission.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, did not want it. So I had to find a psychic surgeon. And in that process of finding a psychic surgeon, you're like, what's a psychic surgeon? And me too, in that moment, me too. What is that? Yeah, it was the instigating event of realizing that I had a really strong sense of clairvoyance. I could see, have second sight, in my mind's eye. I'm thinking it's normal. Everybody has this ability to have such a strong, let's call it imagination, but it's only the theater of the mind that plays. That's the theater where multiple things can play, and that includes your own imagination, that includes your memories, that includes your dreams, and that includes going to the other world and playing with all of these elementals, and seeing people that are, you don't see them with these eyeballs, you see them with the third eye.
Third eye,
Yeah, yeah. So this is the natural progression, and as I get into the process of being introduced to all of these characters on the other side of our veiled existence, I'm trained. I was trained by angels to say, okay, this is how you clean off a soul body. This is how you create the light to heaven. This is how you send people over. Here's how you tell the difference between a human and a demon. So yeah,
that's a good point.
it's a good point, because you don't want to send a demon to heaven.
No,
No.
no, probably not a good choice.
Yeah, it's not a good look. So yeah, it becomes this very personalized journey where it's almost curated for me, and the training was step by step logical, until one day I was speaking with a friend of mine. Actually, it starts from me seeing in my mind's eye my friend's face, and it was very alarming, very distressed. In my mind's eye, I could see this person's face. Now, he lived in another state, and no phone calls were happening. It was just, I'm on the treadmill and I'm before work and I'm getting ready for my day, and all of a sudden he appears as a face before me. And now I hadn't spoken to this person in a while, and I'm like, I'm busy, I don't have time for this, out of my way, and the vision persisted, and it persisted then with more. The whoever was giving me this information to connect was also sending a great deal of emotional energy my way, and I started to sob. And when sobbing is your own reason or not, and I knew this was coming from outside of me. So some more training. Where do we distinguish the information coming from outside of us? How do we know it's ours, that we originated with this thought and idea? And so having that practice, what happened? I'm in the shower, and all of a sudden I start to sob and uncontrollably, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll call this person. I give up. Now here's where it starts to get even more freaky. I get out of the shower, I pick up my phone, and my phone, clearly I had deleted this person out of my phone, but the phone number was typed in for me, ready to hit send. Yeah. What's up with that?
You need to call this person.
So weirdness aside, I don't have schizophrenia. I've never had a break. I'm not crazy. This is just my experience, and it is weird to me also. Don't worry, we're all on the same page. So I pick up my phone, I call it, and this man answers. I've known for 20 years, and I hear him. Sounds like he was just waking up, and that was the expression that I thought it was. I'm like, did I just wake you up? He says, no, I'm married. I'm living in Texas, and my wife just died.
Oh.
Like just died. And he was giving her CPR, and that was the angst that I was experiencing of emotion that was coming towards me to interpret. So that was an experience where we learned she had overdosed and accidentally killed herself in their home. Now that was all put to rest. Time passes, cut to a year later. We're on the phone again, catching up. And he's talking to me about how he wants to sell his house. And the house where they lived, the house where she died. And I said, do you have any luck? He's like, lots of people coming through, but when they get to the master bedroom where she left us, they all kind of turn heel and decide they're not interested anymore. And I go, do you think it has anything to do with what happened in there? And you want to know the strange answer he gave me? He says, what do you mean? Well, okay, I make it easy to remember because I just cut through a whole year's worth of information. He's like, what do you mean? What happened there? And I go, your wife died there. And I said, it was an accidental death. It was not, it wasn't, it was like a
Yeah.
violation of the universe to do that. It was just not something that was supposed to happen. And all of a sudden I could see that clairvoyance in my mind's eye. It looks like if you were to take a cake and you cut it in half, you get to see all the layers, right?
Right.
So this house became like a cake layer. And so upstairs where the bedroom was, I could
Okay.
see where there looked like a black hole that had been punched through the time space continuum where she
Where
ended
she
her life.
passed. Oh.
And I said to him, this is part of that whole progress of I wonder if I can. I wonder if I can do this work, this for him. And for me, it showed up as a question of I wonder if I can I heal this black hole. And I said, do you want me to see if I can try to heal it remotely? We're on the phone. I'm not in person. We're just on the phone. And so he tended always to be a long-winded person. And while he was saying his yes in several sentences,
Right.
I heard the permission and I went to work. So he was still talking away, and I saw what became new skin. The black hole was kind of plugged, and new baby like skin was placed over the top, and it became this new sparkling, like the energy burst with light, love and light instead of that dark black
Darn.
hole. And from that, as he answered, yeah, I guess that's a good idea, because he was still talking. Because I did that work.
He
And
must have been your husband's friend, right?
women get a bad rap for talking all the time. It's men. Men
It's
talk.
men. I agree. I agree. My boys are the same way. My husband and son, they're the same
Yeah,
way. Mom,
yeah.
you talk all the time, and they're the ones.
Exactly. So they're the gossipers too. But
I don't
anyways,
know. I would say that with them, but
ah,
they like to
they
talk,
like to talk.
tell stories, a lot of stories and jokes.
They get in trouble at school for being the talker. Yeah. So yeah, he finished up, and while he said, yeah, that's a good idea. And I said, okay, great, because it's already done. I finished the work. You should get an offer on the house in 2 weeks. And he waited a week after it actually he got an offer, because he goes, I didn't want to give you a big head about it. But at 2 weeks, I heard the same sound as what you might hear if a submarine sends a ping.
Okay, yeah.
All of a sudden it came to me, and I was somewhere else entirely, and I heard that in here, and I went, oh, he just got an offer on the house. A week later, he texts me and he's like, yeah, I got an offer last week. I said, I know you did.
I knew probably before you did.
Yeah, I got the offer. So yeah, I've had several instances where people's homes have been compromised by either a ghost or some sort of earthbound or paranormal or some sort of experience where it's making the buyers, potential buyers, turn off. And once I clear out the energy, guess what? They get an offer. So yeah, working on that, that's been a lot of fun. And that's been now like that's been a good 18 years ago that I started doing that kind of work, and it's just progressed and progressed until I had not only that inclination. I wonder if I can, like all that wonder, I wonder if I can help heal you of this attachment. Along with that came a host of all of these spiritual guides for my own protection, because can I just say, if this interests you as a listener, if you're listening to this, watching this, and you think, oh, that sounds like fun, I want to do that too, don't attempt it without protection. Spiritual protection, you need a bulldog and a pit bull on your side. And in my case, that's the spiritual army of Archangel Michael and every single one of them. And I love working with them. They're just like to the point. What do you want us to do? I'm like, get that. And they're on it, on it so fast.
Nice.
Yeah. And I have dragons. So dragon energy, you can imagine this huge, like from Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit, and remember the the big dragon.
I haven't seen those, but I've seen Pete's dragon, so I think of Pete's
Oh no,
dragon.
Pete's a little bit friendly. He's a little different. But yeah, these dragons, they mean business. And if you could, I guess there's just, you need that kind of backup is what I'm trying to say. Don't go doing this on your own thinking it's, oh, exciting and fun, and what am I going to run into? Don't do it. You're gonna end up on a phone call with me trying to get rid of it.
Remember, Eva here, guys. Eva. It's good. It's good tips though, because you really don't want to put yourself in the spot until you know you are ready and can protect yourself like that. So yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. The protection of all those on the other side of the veil, the unseen world, your guides, your loved ones, your higher self, and all of the elementals that are here to help us, and not to mention starseeds. So there's a ton of help out there. So don't ever walk down a spiritual and metaphysical or metaphorical dark alley by yourself thinking, I got this. That's hubris, and you will get yourself into trouble.
Yeah, yeah. That's good points. Good points. Good. Awesome. And that kind of puts us right into our ET
Yeah.
story that you have.
Yeah, this
This
was
is exciting.
interesting. Yeah, and not really the sensationalized, oh, I saw this light out in the field and I followed it and they picked me up and I've lost 4 hours. No, 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 no. This was an identity crisis. So I work at my desk, just like I'm looking at you on my computer screen, and I'm working away and I'm writing emails and I'm doing stuff. And I kept feeling a floatiness, like somebody was trying to get my attention. Kind of like you hear a whistle outside and you think, oh, who's out there bugging my peace? And I kept getting this come with us, floaty feeling. And again, a moment of, all right, I've had enough. I give in.
Yeah, I've had
And
one of those too.
yeah, I surrender. I cannot concentrate. So fine. And I'm all of a sudden in my mind's eye again, I'm brought up to this place where it looks like the inside of a, you've ever been on the Disney ride Thunder Mountain, on the inside of the line, you're just inside this cave that's all like glittery with,
I can imagine it.
yeah.
I can
So
imagine
yes,
it.
yes, we're here. We are here together.
Here, woo!
So I'm there in this cave, and before me are five very tall, light body figures. And I'm looking at them again here, and I'm like, who are you? I was kind of angry about it. Who are you? Where am I? Because you've kidnapped me. Why am I here? And they said, well, you're one of us. One of who? Well, we're the collective of Sirius B. Do tell, Sirius B. This is part of the North Star constellation, right? And why am I here? Oh, you'll see. And then they popped me back down into my body. So it was this really quick, short thing. Cut to a conversation I had with my other in-person 3D spiritual guide. I said, hey, have you ever heard of the collective of Sirius B? She's like, no, but you should consider a galactic activation. Do tell, what is a galactic activation? So this apparently is a sacred ancient mystery school teaching that reconnects you with your star seed. And in my case, it was these people. So I looked it up, and as perfect divine timing would have it, there was in 1 month a very rare galactic activation class happening at the end of the month. And I was like, oh, well, this is just crazy. So I signed up for it, and this is the middle of COVID, so you have to have the mask and the shield and the 6 feet apart, and everybody's doing that in class. And so we're in class. I put up on the screen, welcome to Galactic Activation. Next slide. We're going to be working with the people who are the star seed that basically walk the human, their desire is to heal humanity through their actions. Like, we really need to get a handle on how to heal humanity. Next slide. we're working with the Nathors. The Nathors are from Sirius B. I damn near, yeah, I had that look too. I almost fell out of my chair. So
Well, you were definitely meant to be there.
definitely meant to be there. And I was very attentive as a result of all of the precursor events that happened that got me there. And yeah, they are all about divine pairings, the masculine and feminine, how to embody that within, how to represent that in the world, and how to bring healing into your daily life as opposed to something you go and do occasionally.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what I do at the Elevate Institute is the ongoing healing. And it just seemed like a perfect pair. I'm like, well, no wonder I'm a Nathor. That makes all kinds of sense. Yeah.
So you've learned a lot more about them now since then. So
Yeah.
can you tell us any more about them? Like maybe what they look like or their
Well,
personalities and whatnot?
well, but the very cool thing that I found out was that even though they became mostly light, they still consume, they still have a body. And caring for it while we are much more dense, as our 3D bodies in this time space continuum, we have a very dense, collection of cells that stay together. They're more on the light side, but they still consume and they still expel, the trash. They still get rid of their food and other consumables. It has to come out. So they still have this whole experience of being in a 3D way, but they communicate telepathically.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the best
Okay.
description I can give you.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, that's good. I'm trying to picture this, trying to picture just like a human, almost like a apparition. Is that
Yeah.
kind of more of an apparition?
More, well, and the more light body that you are, the longer you can sustain life in that body. So that was another thing. They live for thousands of years. And then the dimension that they're in is just a little bit different, which is why I could see them here, not necessarily with these eyes. Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. And how tall are they?
They looked like they were somewhere between 7 and 8 feet, and they
Okay.
varied in height. It's funny, they had arranged themselves so that it looked like, the tallest person was in the middle, and then like, we taking a picture? What are we doing here? Yeah.
So they have humor.
Or they know my humor. I think that's where
Yeah, there you
it
go.
comes from. Yeah, it's very, very fun. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. That is so cool. Um, you also said that you were able to visit any planet you would like if there's someone that needs help there, and you have been to Neptune.
Yeah, there was at a period of time when both of my daughters, of course, as they were growing up, they lived with me. And as they awakened spiritually, their gifts turned on as well, around the same time mine did. And some would call that a coven, anywhere where you have three people who are awakening, going into the ability to work with natural order. It's coven. And even though we're not witchcraft people, it's just that's what they call it. So, anyways, my daughter was having very vivid dreams and going to Venus every night to work there. That seemed to be her thing. And she would wake up exhausted.
I
So,
bet.
well, one of these nights, she had a dream that brought her to Neptune. And the person who was getting her attention on Neptune was a human. And he kept saying, "Get your mom. I want your mom. I need your mom," talking about me. So she wakes up the next morning, she comes to me and she says, "I've had this weird dream. I can't tell if it's real or not." And for me, whenever a person starts to speak a problem, whether it's in their body, around in their lives, in their home, it's a permission slip for me to follow that line of thought energetically, and I'm there. I'm there with them. So she just mentioned it. She's like, "Yeah, there's this guy," and I even said, I said, on Neptune. She goes, "Yeah, how'd you know that?" And I said, "Well, I'm there. I'm seeing it now." And it's funny, those little minions, I guess, in Toy Story. They're not minions, but they're the little green Martian toys that you get from the.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I reference a lot of old movies because that's what my kids watched when they were growing up. So they have We have so the people, the population was all these little green guys, and they lived. I'm short. I'm only 5'1", and so they all came up to me about my waist height. And it's funny, all the eyeballs came and turned at me like, and they could see me. I went hi, and they all went hi.
Not expecting you so soon.
Yeah, they're like, one of them goes, "Hey, there's a guy here," and I says, "I know. Where is he? Take me to him." So we had this discussion, and the person was unconscious. His body was physically in the state of New York in a hospital, and he was trying to ask me. He says, "Will you please put me into another body so that I don't have to start all over again?" He says, "I don't want to go back to that body. It's going to hurt." That's what he said. He kept saying that. He goes, "It's going to hurt when I get back into my body. I don't want to have to go through that. And I'm just going to die anyways." And I told him, I says, "No, you can't do that. It's a violation for me to take. It's just the same as if you were a demon." I says, "I can't put you in someone's body. That's not going to work." I says, you're bound to that body." And to this day, now this was more than 10 years ago, to this day, every time I go to Neptune, he's still there. So
He's just trying to find somebody to bring him out.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
And Neptune is saying, "Are you ever going to go back?"
Yeah, they're hospitable to him for whatever reason, and there he is. Anyways, yeah. So the ability to go is not just our own solar system, but a long time ago, I was granted access to the Akashic records. In one of my very first astral travels, I was presented with the Book of All, and I said they closed the book and they hand it to me and they go, "Here you go. You have access to all this now." And I says, "What is all this?" My history, my lifetime, my Akashic record. And they go, "No, everybody's Akashic record, the access to what they need to get to the next step, whatever's blocking them, you have access to it. Like, you're not going to get access to things like, who am I going to marry? Where should I live?" Those are, vanity's sake questions.
Uh-huh.
If it has to do with their life path moving forward, you'll have access to the message they most need in the moment. And it's good for all universes. Well, that's a contradiction in terms. All multiverse, all Earths, all solar systems throughout the entire existence of time and space. You have access to that. Great. What do I do with it? And they go, "You'll see." You'll see. Just like Hathors, you'll see. And Spirit does that with me a lot. They're like, "Here you go. Here's something. Great. What do I do with it?" "You'll see."
Just putting that carrot out in front of you to follow.
Yeah, but if that has access to that has been fantastic to heal ancestral wounds. So things that if you don't complete your life contract as a human and with your contract with God and you die, then your children inherit your contract, which is also another violation. Anyways, you can clear that. So if you find yourself trying to clear something out, you're like, "I don't know where this came from." It probably came from your ancestors. And that's what that access is used for, clearing all that out.
That is cool. That is cool. Just one real quick more question here. So is that kind of related to the shadow work?
It is in a way. It's shadow work is more of that internal original wound to speak. Your shadow work is the original you that popped out. So it could have your original personality, anything before you developed a maturity of any kind. And so that's the original you, whereas that can get compromised by your ancestors' incomplete work. Yeah. So it can be compromised, but they are two different things.
Okay, gotcha, gotcha. Well, I have had such a blast with you today, and I'm so glad and happy that you were able to join us and talk with me today. So I'm just speechless because it's so awesome. I mean, I have been enjoying all of this podcasting thing, and I never thought I would ever do anything like this. I This is like so out of my box that I can't even tell you about it. But but I do thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure to be here. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you again. Well, if anybody out there would like to share their stories of their experiences, please email lighttalk423@gmail.com. And we hope to talk to you soon. We'll see you. Thank you again for joining me.
Yeah, you're welcome.